Hey everybody, welcome to another randomizer race, and this one is going to be the third place match of the 2021 randomizer tournament. This is an invite only format, so these players didn't make it out of the bracket, didn't make it out of the group stages, so they're all invited to the challenge cup. And this is pretty much the end of the road here, and we started. It looks like we're starting off in World 1, and we're starting off on the hand stage, and SDiezal took a death on it. So, like I said, this is the third place match, and I believe tonight is going to be the first place match too. I believe it's playing tomorrow. I don't remember exactly. And Antlers has taken the early lead, and he goes on to World 8 Fort. SDiezal is right behind. So yeah, I think this should be a really, really good match. It should be close. These guys are pretty evenly skilled. Antlers taking a death on that tribal right there.
A bit of a tough start for sure going into this World 8 Fortress. We've seen on deaths both sides so far for our runners, and at this point, Antlers is just a little bit behind. But we are so early in this matchup, it's anybody's game at this point still.
Yeah, they got to shake off their nerves maybe a little bit. This is the pretty much first level of the first match of the third place round. It's a pretty important match, and once they shake off those nerves, I'm sure we're gonna be rolling through this thing. Growl, can you tell us about the flags that we're using tonight?
Gladly. We have a fun setup. I love how the tournament managers put this together. Antlerz44 just absolutely incredible with all things randomizer. He went ahead and he built 4 different combinations that our runners can choose from. So right now we're seeing one of those, and then of course right after we'll see the other one. And this one is no end card games, which means every 80,000 points we're not going to be playing the memory game. And the question mark levels have not been allowed. So that means that hand level stages are still going to be a factor. So our runners are going to be dealing with that just a little bit in World 8, as well as, you're not going to be able to have you are going to get the headway as far as the fortresses go. So as soon as we see those 10 panels, we'll kind of get an idea of what fortresses are going to be required. The other one, of course, the end card game is not allowed, but the question marks are. So we'll see just a little bit of strategy difference in that. The other thing that's really worth noting here is that the hammers may or may not break locks. It's already been rolled into the seat. We have zero idea what it's going to be, whether or not it does actually break locks. We're going to have to wait and find out.
I didn't even realize that. That's pretty interesting. So the players themselves don't know that the hammers break locks or not. Okay. I like that. Keep them guessing.
Absolutely. And we actually saw 3 in a row last night that did not break locks. So hammers, it was a factor. It was definitely a possibility. And it seems like it's been about 50-50 throughout the entire tournament. Antlerz actually was able to track all of that and actually even had to go back and look at some because either the seed was too fast or there was not a place where they could even try it. So kind of interesting, but it's definitely been a fun addition for sure.
Yeah, and they're not really going to know whether they should go for Hammer Brothers 4 hammers or early or not, because, I mean, the only real reason for people go for Hammer Brothers are for hammers, and not knowing is, it's like, are you going to risk the time sink early? It's our decision. They both seem to have a little bit of a problem here on World 1, though. SDiezal did make it to the airship.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's almost like the Schrodinger's cat in a box kind of experiment. You don't know what your opponent's going to go for, so do you take that risk? Do you go after those hammers, the hammer suits, the clouds, even early? That could be a huge time loss unless you do get those really top tier items. And if you don't get those top tier items, but your opponent does, then that's time saved for them. So it's really a catch-22. What do you go with? Do you do it? Do you not? It's just going to be a lot of guessing at this point.
And if you're at all familiar with Randomizer, you know the rule that whatever you do is the wrong decision, so...
Absolutely. Decisions, all of them wrong. And Antlers just had a bit of an issue there on the World 7 airship. He took a death and is going to have to restart it. He actually clipped through a block and ended up falling to his death. And we see it once again. Antlers has to get his head in this game. He's got a lot to go, and he can't be losing at this point.
Yeah, he probably assumes he's way behind, but little does he know, SDiezal had a pretty hard time of World 1 too, so he's really not that far back.
No, he's really not. And with the randomizer, the majority of the game starts within your mind. And if you can't get yourself in a place where you're even better off, then you've already lost the race. You know, Antlerz only has about a level between him and SDiezal, probably more of a level and a half because of the length of World 7. But if you don't get out of your own head at this point, you might as well just hang up the controller.
But there's still, even if you don't count this match, there's still a possible two more, at least one more to go. So, like I said, they're going to shake off their early nerves. They're going to get into this, I believe it.
Absolutely, and we saw such an incredible comeback from Leslie Pro last night in the finals matchup. That, of course, will be at 8 p.m. tonight, so in about 3 hours, we're going to be looking forward to the conclusion of that. And Leslie Pro was able to come all the way back from minutes behind going into World 8, and then come all the way back and won single-handedly in that one to take the second match. So, you know, it's not over yet. You've still got a lot of game to play. World 7 Airship, get through it, get done with it, and move on. Just get it behind you and let's go.
Yeah, and Antlerz has to be really careful because he's down to 0 lives. So if he dies one more time, he's going to have to take a game over. And if he takes a game over, he's going to get really in his head that he's probably going to think he's too far behind to even come back.
Absolutely. And even though we look at the map and only 1-5 and 1-6 are the two levels respectively that he'd have to play, that's really just a grind on your mental status at that point and would be something that you really have to refocus on and get yourself back into it. Thankfully, that's not going to be a factor here, though, as Antlerz is going to be joining SDiezal in World 2.
Curious if he takes the game over right away, which I assume he might, to refill his lives up here in the beginning of World 2.
He also has 2 stars right there, so he's got a fortress he can play right off the bat. Beat it, you don't have to play it again no matter what happens with the game over. Beat the level, and you can possibly get that star fanfare, and you're going to be in a better position than the game over, I think. I say you go for it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Which it looks like he is going to do.
And this isn't really an easy fortress to take an early exit on, so I think the choice here for Antlerz needs to be push forward and get through where you want to be. And with that star, you know, it's not going to be a huge factor for him able to get further ahead with it, but you know, it's one of those things, you've got it, you might as well use it for now and then just finish off as quickly as you can.
Yeah, plus we already know that this fort is required to break that lock to get to the second area, so I mean, you might as well just do it while you're here. And like you said, it's hard to take an early death in this level because you have to go through the pipe transition and then get hit a couple times, yeah.
Absolutely, and a Boomerang Brother does produce a music block, but I think more importantly, it was a mushroom on the side of SDiezal, as that pipe is a good one, and it's going to take our runners to, ooh, okay, I thought that was 7-8 at first. I was like, okay, this is going to get interesting.
I hope it's taking him to, I'm not familiar with all the vanilla, I think this is 4-6, I believe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Home of the big monsters, and you don't have to necessarily beat any of those monsters to beat the level, but I don't know of a single person who doesn't.
Hey, if they're there and they're in your way, you might as well stomp them.
Might as well. I mean, if you've got it, flaunt it.
Alright, and SDiezal made a pretty quick work of World 2. Which was World 2, by the way, so we're in vanilla World Order territory right now.
Yeah, so far so good. I wasn't going to mention it to try to give ourselves a better chance, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I ruined it.
It's all good. But Roy currently Morton, giving SDiezal just a little bit of a problem as he does go small. Thankfully, he was able to finish off the fight with a Grey Coupling real quick and is now moving into World 3. Chat, get your guesses in. What's coming up next?
And the thing is, too, I would imagine SDiezal thinks he's way behind. Both of these players right now probably think they're way behind because of the World 1 that they had, and they're probably going to play a little bit more aggressively to try to catch up to each other, even though they're still fairly close.
That is one thing about the randomizer that just blows my mind. I don't know of a single runner who doesn't believe they're behind the majority, if not the entire race. And you're absolutely right. That early exit on the side of SDiezal, I mean, it was a hand level stage that he fell to. And, ooh, a free pipe for World 3, so that's nice. The runners aren't going to have to play the first 3 levels. A little bit of a skip there will be very beneficial on both sides.
Antler's grabbing his star, and I believe they're both equal on items right now, as long as Antler's grabs this other bro, which he already did, right? Yeah, I think so. And World 3 is World 3. 3 for 3.
So far, so good. Macobra did call it in chat, and no hammers on the side of SDiezal yet, so he's going to have to wait and play the long way around. But there is a fortress right next to him. He'll go ahead and play it. That's 4F1. We'll see if that's the right one.
But that's what Antler needs. A couple deaths from SDiezal's side, he's going to be right back into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And Antler's just needs to play really smart, really well, and really aggressive. I know a lot of players will sometimes, you know, there's a big difference between aggressive versus angry. And if you're playing aggressive, then yeah, you might let the anger fuel you a little bit because you're angry with yourself, you're angry with the seed, you're angry with a lot of things. And it's, you know, it's anybody's guess. But if you can use that as a fuel to kind of remember those P-speed strats, to remember what you want to do, to remember where you need to go, knock yourself out, man. That's exactly what we need at this point.
And Antler's is making his way to World 3. Let's see how Morton treats him.
Okay, so no clear answers as to whether or not 4F1 was the right one. It is not. So the first fortress that the runners will come to between the two is the correct one. And if Antler's is able to pull this off and figure out the right one quicker, that's going to be a huge time save for him, and definitely one that's going to be well needed.
Yeah, he might just see that first fort and do it right away, and that would definitely save him a couple of... it'll save him one level and a couple of pipe transitions. But I think SDiezal did it the way most people would do it, check the pipe first, and then do the closest fort, but it's going to be a tough call. Let's see what Antler's does.
You know, I see rationale for both sides, which makes it incredibly hard. Like, which answer is the right one? Do you see the fort, play a fort? I mean, you have nothing on the front screen that suggests anything is even required. If you have a hammer, sure, go ahead and play the pipes. If not, you know, maybe make a little bit of a judgment call there. We'll have to wait and see what he decides.
Yeah, I'm an advocate of World 3, do a fort, play a fort, because you know most of the time one fort is going to be required, even if there is two. But like you said, it's a toss-up, so I mean, you never really know.
Well, it looks like Antler's has gone ahead and decided to find Windy first. We'll see which fort he decides to come back and play next.
Yeah, and I didn't catch this the first time. The other lock is on the island. I just seen it on Antler's side. He is going to play that one first. Yep, that's more logical, so I don't blame him.
Yeah, no worries at all for that. And we got a chunky monkey in Windy this evening. She's going to be a bit of a pain to take down, but 3 shots, no problem for SDiezal. Moving on to World 4. Chat, what do you think?
I'm going to go with 5.
I got to go 7. We'll see what happens here.
I wouldn't mind seeing a 4, though. It's been a long time since I've seen. I think it's been a whole year at least since we've seen a vanilla World Order. Last main tournament, I believe it was.
For sure. And Antler's with an interesting decision there. Went ahead and picked a tail up. He had a fire flower, decided to go ahead and pick a tail. Some runners tend to like the randomizer with the tail better because it makes it just a little bit easier to kind of slow your fall a little bit.
Yeah, you're trading time for consistency, which is a pretty good idea in randomizer most of the time, unless you're going against someone that you know is, you know, going all out and going all fast strats. I really don't blame him for going consistency over a little bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really more than anything for your mental acuity at this point. And if Antler's is able to keep himself mentally in this game, then he can come back. I mean, you can make up time, you can make up consistency and things like that. But if you have that little bit of an extra boost for one of those things that you need, it's a great place in my opinion as well.
SDiezal entering everybody's favorite fort, World 8, Fort 2. I know I love it.
Oh yeah, 7F2, such a fun one, yay.
7, yes, I'm sorry, 7-2, yes.
This was the single reason why my first time I ever played Randomizer was over 2 hours. It took me forever because those piranha plants just are not friendly.
Yeah, that's my fault. I was probably the one that talked you into it too.
Yeah, I mean, it may or it may not be your fault, but you're the one I'm blaming, so we'll just go with that.
Yeah, most people do.
Nah, it's all good. You guys have been stuck with me ever since.
I wouldn't say stuck. I would say we had the pleasure of.
All right. Anyway, so SDiezal now through the first of the two fortresses, interestingly enough, has decided not to play the other one. If this is our 3-fort world of the sea, that fortress is going to be required. So thankfully, we don't have a tower yet, but we only have one pipe, which means if he does go through this and the blue fortress is necessary, he's going to have to come back down and play the tower to do it.
Yeah, I would check the pipe first, though. It could not be the paradox pipe, and then you could just go back and forth freely. But if it's the paradox pipe, he's probably going to take a death and then scope out the situation first.
Okay, SDiezal is very aware of the questions we are asking because he has already thought about it, and you're absolutely right. It was not a paradox pipe, but it's also not a required fortress. So SDiezal is going to be moving on in just one moment.
Yeah, I love the World 5s where you have to do the fort. We have to go back and forth. You got to make the bridge to get to the blue fort. So you got to go up, make the bridge, go back down, then go back up. Those are my favorite ones.
Absolutely. Anything that kind of elongates World 5 a little bit is a huge plus in my opinion.
Yeah, unless I'm playing, and then it sucks. But I'm not playing right now, so it's all good.
Said by every commentator ever. I love it.
Uh-oh.
Antlers is really struggling in this fight. We've seen Wendy twice now take on Antlers, take him all the way down to small, and then beat him. And he's had 2 deaths in a row. The first one, he got cornered, and Wendy just would not let him go. But you talk about a corner level. We've got 6-5. This one is not friendly.
No. And thankfully, Antlers doesn't have to do any extra levels for that game over because the pipe takes him right to the airship, so that is also good.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a place where you're so thankful that the fortresses don't adhere to the same rules that the others do. So Frogsuit comes out on the side of Antlers as he goes through this World 5 airship for hopefully the last time.
Well, he's got the right power up for it, best in the game. He's gonna hop over to Wendy and see what he could do here.
We got a question in chat about the beta stages. There are lost levels and beta stages. And yes, as far as I understand, they are stored on the original cartridge. It was just part of the memory, and the levels just never exactly made it into the game.
Yeah, something I actually discovered recently, the beta iceberg stage is on the World 1 map in vanilla, and it's on the start icon. So if you can have a Hammer Brother land on the start icon, which is impossible through normal gameplay, you could actually enter the beta level. If you go into an editor and move the start icon to the left 1 square and you get the brother up there, you can enter the beta level as vanilla. I never knew that until the other day.
That is very interesting.
We got a flying boss bass too.
Yeah, this boss bass not being friendly in this 7-8. I'm curious as to what the decision was to not play the extra level or the extra section of this level, because that actually would despawn boss bass. But he obviously knows something we don't know because he's now through it and on to World 5 airship with Roy at the end of it.
So Diesel's pretty much maintaining an almost 1 world lead here. But Antlers is getting into the groove a little bit, and he's playing a little better from what I see, and still has a very good chance to catch up. Diesel's just going to power through this, not caring about any of the damage boosts.
You know, you bring up a really good point. Antlers is able to just kind of keep in this at this point, but what we haven't seen yet is World 4, 6, and 7, and 2 of those worlds can get very long, very fast. And if Antlers is able to make up any time, I would bet money on any of those, or at least the other 2, 6 and 7, that could possibly help him back into this thing.
I'm pretty sure SDiezal has a hammer for 6. I'm not sure if Antlers picked that up or not. That could come in handy. And we still don't know if hammers break locks or not.
You know, with Antlers, I know that there's a lot of things going through his head right now, but hopefully one of the things he's thinking about is it possible to play maybe a few more Hammer Brothers here in an effort to try to get a hammer. You don't know yet whether or not they break the locks. Do you go after that? Is that a strategy that you would even employ here?
Well, I think if I was both of them, I would probably be assuming I was behind, and I would probably be going for any, like, advantage I can get, so I probably would consider doing some extra bros, trying to get either Clouds for 7-5 or Atlantis, or some hammers that possibly could help later, that the other ones maybe not, but the other opponent might not get.
Absolutely. I mean, World 4 has a possibility for a hammer still. It's not very, I don't know that I've ever actually seen it in Randomizer, but World 6 has a really good place for a hammer if hammers don't break locks. So, I mean, there are places that you could use that hammer still, and it looks like Antlerz does have one, so it must have been a Princess letter that gave him one. That could be a huge thing, and if he plays either of those Hammer Brothers and gets another one, and they do break locks, that itself could be a huge advantage right there.
Alright, he's making his way through 5-4-1. Pretty easy, pretty much vanilla. The only thing that can hang you up in that is the roto discs. They can do whatever they want. Sometimes they feel like hitting you, sometimes they don't. And it looks like the hammer is going to come in. Well, I spoke too soon.
It looks like it might, because we have two pipes. One of them does go to the middle top, but it looks like it's going to be not a factor with the rock.
Nope, but that does make them more valuable if they do end up breaking locks, though.
Oh, absolutely.
So it looks like he skipped about 3 levels there with that pipe transition, and he's going on to 3-2. The infamous cheap hitbox level.
The run killer for sure. I've seen a lot of runs die because of this level alone.
Yeah, I just started running Warpless, and this is one of the levels that pretty much gets me every time. Like, I assume I'm going to get cheaped every time.
Antler's making a decision to go ahead and use a P-Wing here. That's kind of interesting, but I guess he didn't want to have to deal with the enemies down below, so away he goes.
So all in all, it looks like World 6 is kind of short. It looks like they did the 1/4 that was there, so it should be a straight shot to the end.
Yeah, I don't recall if there was 1 or 2 at the beginning. It looked like the first 2 levels he had played were both fortresses, but even then, you're absolutely right. Like, it's just not a quick world, or not a long World 6 at all. They're going to be done and through this in no time, and then we've either got 4 or 7 coming up next, and both have a very good tendency of being short. This one could be over soon.
Yeah, just don't get lost in World 7 pipes. That pipe amnesia, it hits hard.
You are not wrong. We sometimes joke about that, but it is seriously not a joke. There's a lot of things that could possibly go wrong, and one of those is that pipe amnesia, where you just don't remember what goes where, and the more you go through pipes, the harder it is to remember.
Careful, Antlers. There's cheaps. Alright, SDiezal has made it to the ship. Still maintaining a pretty good lead. I think he even added on to his lead now a little bit. Playing Iggy, or Lemmy, I'm sorry. And he's 1 hit.
No problems at all there. And now Antlerz finds himself in 7-8. And now 4 or 7 is coming up for SDiezal. Now, if you want to get your guesses into chat, this one is looking like it's SDiezal's to lose. Antlerz has a lot to come back from. But, you know, never count a guy out. There is a possibility he could come back.
I don't doubt it. I've seen crazier. I've done crazier. World 8 is really a huge equalizer, and sometimes I can swing it towards the 5 minutes I've seen before.
Holy smokes. Okay, so we have 2 locks on the right side of the first part of this level. So if that pipe is required, then these runners are going to have to find a new way to either get around, or they're going to have to beat both of the fortresses. This is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Okay, it's not required.
Yeah, no forts are required, it looks like, unless they're in the way to the path of Bowser. Or to the path of the airship, rather. Which is definitely a good thing, so now you don't have to go looking for them, at least. You just have to find the end. And there it is. A very short World 7. What was there any levels required?
No levels required, and
Ooh, that was good. That's a good thing. It could have only saved one level, but we'll never know probably because I'm assuming Antlers will do exactly the same thing. Because that fort was right there, but it's not even worth checking, especially since it's World 6 already. We're almost at the end here.
Oh, absolutely. That is definitely worth checking. That's a 3-fortress World 7, and nothing was required. That is bizarre.
Yeah, knowing that World 4 is the last world, you're probably not going to use a hammer there anyway. If Antlers was to check that fort and it was correct in World 7 and save that hammer, it could come helpful in World 8, but that would be like a huge like heads-up play that I don't see anybody taking. But if he thinks he's far enough behind, he might take that risk.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, both sides, like we talked about before, are just afflicted by that feeling that you are so far behind. And I love the play from SDiezal. You know, save yourself any little bit. Whether or not Antlers goes for it is, you know, still left to be decided here. But I love the play to go ahead and try it. The biggest aggressive play that I am concerned about, though, is Antlers going directly after that rock, because if he does go after that rock, he's going to find out very quickly that that wasn't useful. So he needs to wait for the screen transition and then utilize, you know, anything in his arsenal. But a hammer, like we just saw on SDiezal's screen, is not necessary here and would be a huge waste of time.
Right, I was thinking that too. Sometimes I see players just blindly break that rock without scrolling to the right, and it could really hurt you sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. Knowledge is power, and it, you know, it sounds very cliche and all, but it is. It really truly is, because if you don't know where Bowser is, or if you don't know how the level plays out, or if you don't know just anything about it, you're in trouble. And this would definitely be a case of that, where Antlers needs the full story before he decides to put his hammer to use.
I believe Antlers is fighting this bro that SDiezal didn't fight, and he gets a cloud. I'm not sure if Diesel got that one or not.
I'm not sure either.
And I think if he did, he's probably not going to be able to use it in World 8 anyway, so if Antlers uses the cloud in World 4, which I don't even know if it's possible, because World 4 might not have had a level you can cloud. He would have to use it now.
No, it actually did not. SDiezal played the Fortress, and then he played a Boomerang Brother, and then that was it. He was out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So he's going into World 8, sub 30, which is a really good time so far. Barring what happened in World 1, this has been a really smooth sailing seed, really fast pipes, and dare say almost a jet. And a cloud might come in handy here in World 8.
All right, looks like Antlers will go ahead and utilize the first pipe he can come to, and that is the correct one. So with that, Antlers should be moving on in just one moment. Going to go ahead and optimize those clouds. I love the call here. Get on to the fight with Lemmy. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. He decided to use a P-Wing.
That's an interesting play. I don't know if he knows, maybe he hasn't been paying attention and he knows that World 4 is next, in the last one before 8. Because that would definitely be the best place to use that cloud right there, I would assume.
Absolutely. I was fully expecting the cloud and then the P-Wing to come out to kind of protect yourself a little bit. Maybe this is a preventative measure. Maybe he's been too afflicted by the Kukling so far and decided, hey, I'm going to do something to keep me safe here.
Yeah, and you never know what the level tile behind that, in front of that pipe in World 8 is. Oh, actually we do, because he's just playing, I didn't even realize. I was going to say that if that was Atlantis or something, that cloud would have came in clutch. But it looks like it's just a normal level. And it looks like it is going to be required, so Antlers is going to have a chance to use his cloud there. Although he is still pretty far back, so this is still SDiezal's to lose. He just has to play a little carefully, and he should be taking game 1.
I love the tempo that SDiezal has set so far, going in, especially into the second race, because he is just flying through this at this point. He's in the groove. He's got the P-Speed strats working for him. He's just putting on a show at this point, and I gotta say I love it. He is off to a great start.
Oh, SDiezal does have a cloud there too, so if that level up to the top left is required, he can just skip out on that. Oh, there you go, no bridges.
What a play from SDiezal to go ahead and use that hammer there. Not a whole lot of recon information there. There's a lot of stuff on the hands stage part of it, but he went ahead and utilized the hammer, and that's it. He's out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good time, too, barring a death in Bowser's Castle. Does he have a bro suit or a fire flower? I'm not sure.
I think I recall seeing the fire flower. I don't believe I've seen a hammer suit yet. Now, Antler's into the Jet World 7. We'll have to wait and see what he ends up doing here. Should take the exact same path.
So Diesel is going to end the run with a cloud, unfortunately, but like I said, I don't think he had anywhere to actually use it, because he got his after World 6, I believe.
Yeah, and even if not, I mean, if you're in World 6, that was the Randomizer World 5, then you've still got 2 more worlds to go, and there's a lot of things that could happen. I mean, who would have guessed that he'd be entering Bowser's Castle at, just before 31 minutes, and is going to be looking for the fight with the Big Turtle here in just a little bit. But, there's a lot of places that those levels could come up, especially knowing it was 7 and 4. There's a lot of things that could possibly go wrong there. So to hold on to the cloud, not a bad decision, but who knew it wasn't going to be necessary at all?
I do it a lot, too. I don't blame him. It seems like to me, every time you hold on to the cloud, and then you use it, and then, Atlantis or 7-5 come up, that's pretty much the story of my life. So I hold on to it, and then it ends up not being useful.
Interestingly enough, we do now just see our first Hammer Brothers suit. It was in the World 1 Fortress that Antlerz went ahead and played, and he played the Prana as well, which is also another hammer. Unfortunately, those hammers are just coming too late for him, because he still has a cloud and a hammer that just aren't going to be useful.
Well, the cloud will be useful if he uses it right away in World 8, because SDiezal did have to play that level, and then the other hammer will be useful to hammer that lock that Diesel did. So if he uses them right, he can save a little bit of time here, but SDiezal did finish with an official time of 32:09. And it does look like Antlerz is going to forfeit and move on to race 2. So congrats on SDiezal for getting match 1 out of the way. I'm sure he's feeling a sigh of relief after that World 1. And he probably thought he was doing bad, and he pulls it out, and now I think he's going to have some energy. I think they're both going to be hyped up for race 2.
Yeah, you definitely want to hope so. We have just a spout of technical difficulties, which is making this a little bit more tricky than it should be. So we're double checking with the racers to see how they want to progress.
Yeah, I've had the same problem that Antlerz is going through with lag while the race time GG room is up. A lot of players have complained about that. I'm going to suggest a fix that he could do, and hopefully it helps.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of things that we can do to try to help these runners as well. And the last thing we want to do is have a race go unfairly in somebody's direction. And I know a lot of the runners, if not all the runners in the community, are very much of the mindset that, hey, I want to beat you, but I want to beat you right. I want to beat you fairly. I want to beat you with the technical delays out of the way. We've seen that over and over and over again, and it's one of the things that I love about this community is they are absolutely amazing in regard to the sportsmanship, and there's just a lot of really good things that this community has to offer. So we're going to work with them, see if we can get this figured out, and try to bring the game 2 as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you're going to play, everybody wants a fair fight. No one wants a You know, no one wants an advantage of any kind.
No, absolutely. I mean, we'll joke around a little bit with each other about, oh, you know, I'm so glad you got stuck up there because I needed the help. But it's never serious. And especially in a tournament like this where you're fighting for a third place spot, you know, Antlers have done such a great job to make it this far. And SDiezal has as well. I mean, we've seen such incredible races thus far. And right after this, most likely, we're going to have a best of 5 finisher. It started last night. Currently, Ryko Ryder is up 2-1 over Leslie Pro 04. But we also saw 3 seeds that were all afflicted by the exact same thing, where hammers did not break the lock. So if Leslie Pro, who likes to use items early, who likes to go for those, kind of even go out of his way for those mushroom houses, if that plays a factor, I think it's going to go in his favor. So, you know, we've got possibly 2 more races tonight between those 2 runners, and it's anybody's guess as to what happens next.
Yeah, I'm excited I actually get to watch that race this time because I missed the first part. And I heard it was really good, especially the Leslie Pro comeback.
Absolutely. That was incredibly incredible. It was just absolutely incredible. Watching it, I was beside myself because he ended up picking up another pipe that Ryko hadn't even found yet and wound up being the entire difference and got Leslie Pro to Bowser's Castle and then threw it before Ryko could even find it. So it was a couple minutes difference at that point, and it was an incredible matchup for sure.
That's why I always say don't count anybody out until World 8 happens. It could be a 5-minute swing. It could be amazing. It could be torturous. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of emotions that could happen with World 8, depending on which runner you are and how you go about it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do with World 8. That's one of the reasons we call it the Great Equalizer. We've got World 7 with Mage Amnesia. And even one of the other equalizers that we don't talk about a lot is the first level. You know, because if we go into this and there's a 6-5 start or a 7-6 start or, you know, one of those levels that's just not friendly towards new runners, you know, you're going to have to play through that. And there's a lot of things that you're going to have to figure out in that regard.
Yeah, even veteran runners, you start out with 7-1 or 7-6. I mean, you're not going to have a good time. It's going to be frustrating, especially with the correct enemy set. And you get 7-1 or 7-6, any enemy set is annoying.
You are absolutely right. And now we are going to be starting our runners off here in just one moment. They are getting started here. And of course, the screen will update in just a moment. Get your guesses in chat. What world's coming up first? And I got to go with World 3 this time.
Go 7, reverse order. We got halfway to vanilla order. Let's try reverse.
Yeah, it was definitely getting close there. And this one is a little bit different. This time we have turned off the end cards again, but we've actually turned on the question mark levels. So this is going to get a little bit interesting. A cloud in World 8 could be a play there. And we'll have to, of course, wait and see what happens.
Yep, question marks definitely make it possible the clouds in World 8 become useful again. But it's kind of tricky using a cloud in World 8 since 80% of the levels are forts, and you kind of want to do the forts. You don't want to skip over a fort. Also, they won't be able to tell if there's any extra tiles on maps, so they don't, like in the scrolling maps, they're not going to know how many forts there are based on the tiles, which can be helpful. So we'll see how that works out.
Absolutely, and a couple of early deaths on both sides of these runners have decided to go ahead and utilize a different strategy. So now both of our runners basically took a soft reset as they decided, you know what, let's take a breather, go back into Air Force in just a moment. And now we've got Antlers just a smidgen ahead at this point, as we saw SDiezal take on the Hammer Brother, got a hammer out of that. That's going to be useful. And Antlers went ahead and went to the Mushroom House and picked up an item there as well.
So again, we're not going to know if hammers break locks until someone tries.
I do love that addition, and I've got to brag on our creator for just a moment. Fred Coughlin is the guy that's put this randomizer together and is sensational. He's always listening to feedback, always going through a lot of different things, and really does a lot for the community. And we just really appreciate all that he does. He's actually the one that added the toggle. So it's you either could go yes, you can go no, or you can go maybe. And if you do pick that maybe, then you have the option of like a hammer maybe breaking a lock or not. And that's something that you're going to have to wait and see.
And this is going to be very good for Antlerz. SDiezal goes into that bro fight as Small Mario, which is almost an impossible bro fight to get through. And Antlerz had a Fire Flower, so he's going to get that star, which unfortunately isn't the greatest item. Did Antlerz get the hammer too? I believe he did.
No, he did not.
He did not.
Hammer took off to the left, and Antlerz has not played it. So he actually went back to the pipe and is going to be a hammer down going into World 2. This is a scary place for Antlerz right now.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know it. That's another crazy thing about the randomizer. I mean, sometimes bros go away, so you can't fight them even if you want to, and they have a really important item like a hammer, and basically you won't know you're screwed until the very end when the other player finishes. So SDiezal is now entering World 2. He's starting off with 4-1. And Antlerz is right behind him, about 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Just too close to call at this point. And I'm sure Antlerz feels like he's a lot further behind than he actually is at this point. It's about a half of a level at this point, and it's 4-1. It's not one of the longer levels of the game. So, just a lot left to play. And Antlerz, hopefully the lag ends for him. He doesn't have to worry about that and is able to get through this a lot quicker and a lot better. I'd love to see a game 3 here.
And here goes 8-2 with a boss bass, and SDiezal's going top route. As long as you stay going fast, boss bass is not going to catch up to you. But you're going to have to slow down here.
Yeah, a little bit of a slowdown for SDiezal, but he'll take the giant jump over, hit the second block, and now he is through. Very nicely done.
Yeah, that was real nice. Let's see how Antlerz goes as he's entering 8-2. He's entering 8-2 small. Let's see if he takes the sand or goes... He's going to take top route. SDiezal is thinking about where to go. He chooses 8. He chooses 5-8. 5-9, I'm sorry.
Yes, the Diagonal Doom does come out for SDiezal, so interesting for sure for him. We'll wait and see if there's any divergence for Antlerz or if he does have to play 5-9 as well.
I don't think he has to. We could play the other tile that goes to the same spot, which I'm kind of surprised that Diesel didn't take the death here and try the other tile. But the other tile, who knows? It could be something that's slower than 5-9, so we'll never know.
We'd also like to welcome the Raiders who just came from SpeedGaming Espanol. I was over on that one. Actually, just before this, they had a very interesting tournament going on. It's a link to the past randomizer, and that was a lot of fun to watch for sure. So welcome. We are currently in a third place matchup between SDiezal and Antlerz, who are now onto their second game.
Oh, actually, I think SDiezal did make the right decision because there is a pipe down there that you still might have to play that tile anyway. But Antlerz is going to go for the other tile, which is a shorter levels, 3-3, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Antlerz, it's feeling like he's having a lot of issues with this entire run at this point, which is very unfortunate to see. But he's going to have to get back into this if he wants any hope. But it's kind of one of those things. What do you do? Because on one hand, you've got the fact that you want to race, and I know Antlerz is a very sensational runner. He does such a great job. And if it is the race time, then, maybe we need to address that later. But, it's just one of those things that we have to do our absolute best with. And unfortunately, Antlerz is just struggling. With a fanfare, that's not a bad thing, though, because 5 ups here with 0 lives is a really good play.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with 0 lives. Why risk it? Especially since you would have to complete tiles to actually get through this one if you die.
Okay, so a bit of an interesting strategy here. I think SDiezal just picked up the pipe that's currently where 3-5 normally would be, and I believe that's the one that actually takes him to Windy. So Antlerz playing a little bit of a risky strategy here, but I think it's going to pay off for him.
Yeah, it'll definitely pay off. He's going to save about 40 seconds on that auto scroller by doing 3-3 instead. Really good fight. Really good Wendy fight from SDiezal, though. Didn't even take damage. He ends the level with fire still, which is what you want to see.
Absolutely. And SDiezal now, it's not even 7 minutes in, going into World 3, another incredibly fast seed. And an answer to Makura third in the chat, yes. Big Mouth Bass, Big Boss Bass actually can show up in any of the levels in the randomizer. I don't know, except for World 8, I don't think there's any level he won't appear in.
Yeah, any level besides forts and there was a couple more. I can't remember which ones. The iceberg, I believe he can't spawn in. Like, I don't think he could spawn in any of the beta levels.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Waterfalls he cannot either, but that would be under the beta levels for sure.
Well, I don't think Waterfalls has any enemies to spawn regardless.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe Pyramid. I think that one's pretty vanilla for the most part.
Yeah,
but anyway, so there are a few.
Not only can Boss Bass spawn in levels, he can spawn in the middle of levels, in the middle slot or on the top slot. He could be flying around, and not no ordinary fish.
Now just about a level behind, we have Antlerz doing his best to catch up. So very nicely done. A huge guess on his side as far as the right route to Whitney goes. He does get it right though. So with that, he is going to save just a little bit of time. Hopefully it's enough that he can catch up a little bit to SDiezal here.
Yeah, and this World 5 is definitely not short. He's going to have to play they play a level right in the beginning and then take the Paradox Pipe to the right side and have to play 2 more levels because there's a lock. And you can't break it. I don't think they have hammers, or did he try to use a hammer there? I'm not sure. Maybe hammers don't break locks.
It does break locks.
Oh, it does. Okay, I see now. So he did use the hammer on the lock. That's very smart.
Oh, that is huge. And if Antlerz does not actually mirror that, he's going to be a lot further behind. So Antlerz definitely needing to do that and really needs to start playing some more Hammer Brothers, especially with that information. Obviously, he doesn't know it yet, but that is going to be very crucial for the rest of this run.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a hammer here, he's gonna fall way behind. He's gonna have to do 2 more levels.
Well, we saw a hammer on the side of SDiezal still, so he had 2 going into World 5. This could be a huge factor for him.
Let's see what this hand level brings in. Oh, SDiezal clipping through all the Hammer Bros, not taking any damage. And he gets a cloud, so all hand levels will be clouds.
What a great item to have in a question mark C. This is the one that SDiezal picked out, I believe. And talk about an incredible place to have clouds that are plentiful, as well as the fact that hammers break locks. If there's going to be a Jet 30 seed, this definitely could be it.
Yeah, we're shaping up for a quick one here, depending on how the other worlds shape up. And Antlerz is having a really tough time with these holes here.
Yeah, we have to believe that that has something to do with the lag as well, or even just Eaton inputs. This is a game that we know, we love, all that jazz, but at the same time, it's 30 years old. So yeah, you know, there are a little bit of technical issues, and you know, what do? You know, it's the game that we know, we love, and all that, but we're working with a 30-year-old game. Sometimes those things do happen.
We got Roy on Diesel's side, 2 hits. He does take 1 damage. He's a heavy hitter, and he takes it out. He takes him down pretty well. SDiezal's going into World 4 at about 10:30. So far he is on a sub 30 pace right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're looking at not even a 4-minute pace. It's a lot less than that, actually. He's going to be going into World 4 just after the 11 o'clock. And Antlerz has found out that hammers do break locks, and he's gone after that Hammer Brother. That's going to be a really good decision, I think, especially if it comes up with something really good for him.
And it does not. The music box can be useful to skip a couple bros, maybe save 30 seconds, but you never know what you're skipping. And SDiezal picks up another cloud from the Peach letter. So there's hammers and clouds all over this map.
Absolutely, and in a World 6 with 3 fortresses, those are going to be huge.
Let's pick up the lane. Another item that SDiezal did not get. He passed that, bro. Moving on to the iceberg.
You know, it's almost like SDiezal knew exactly where they were. I can assure you he does not. There is no possible way he could know exactly what those different things have given him, because it seems like the only thing he's gone after is hammers and clouds, which is remarkable. I mean, talk about great guessing, because that's going to keep him in and probably win it for him.
Yeah, plus I figure he probably thinks he already has 2 hammers, and why risk going for another one? They're getting less and less valuable as time goes by.
Absolutely. The further you get into this, the less those items are going to be useful. And who really cares? SDiezal already onto the Lemmy ship. He's got 2 clouds. He's got a hammer. World 7 is still coming up. We've still got a lot of things that can happen with some of those items. So, I mean, we were talking about a sub 30, and I think we might actually have to lower that. There was a good possibility this could be even faster than that.
Antlerz is going to use one of his clouds. I forget exactly what that level is that he clouds, but he clouds the 7-9 tile. He's going to go for the wand grab, and it looks like he gets it. Saves about 4 seconds there. And it looks like SDiezal is about a whole world ahead again.
Well, we are unfortunately going to find out what 5-9 is, because Antlerz did take a death there to a very earthquakey Morton. Or, I'm sorry, Roy. They have the same sprite, just different colors. But anyway, so that Roy is going to take down Antlerz, and now he's going to have to replay the level that he just clouded over. Whereas now SDiezal is now moving on to World 5, and very quickly as well.
And he gets an anchor, which we have no idea what that is. It could be a cloud, it could be a fire flower, a music box, star. The only thing it can't be really is a hammer.
Or a warp whistle, but that's also indicative because we don't have a warp whistle anywhere in the game. We've taken a look out. We have no time for that.
Little birdie told me though that warp whistles are going to make an appearance in the next weekly. Well, that's what I've heard.
That is interesting. That is something I might have to get in on, because warp whistles are fun, especially when you randomize the warp world. That makes it very interesting for sure, but a good time. So I would definitely not want to miss that for sure.
Yeah, implementing the warp world is a whole other thing. I don't know if that's going to happen. That gets a little complicated. We don't want to have overload for everybody.
Fair enough, maybe another time. But in answer to the question of Melkura, this is not rando luck. We have turned off all your auto scrollers except for 2. Atlantis and 5-9 are the only 2 that we have not turned off, because I think there's some ridiculous way that it doesn't work because it likes to move around and things like that. And now SDiezal just making a clinic of this. He's already into the next airship. He's going to be done with World 2 in just a moment. Now he's going to be extending his lead to 2 worlds.
I just wanted to clarify that a couple of the runners have been working on 5-9s for Speedrunners Edition, and we have found out that it is possible to complete 5-9 not auto-scrolled, but there's a lot of blind jumps, and you just, you gotta get lucky a few times with the timing, but it is definitely possible. That doesn't mean we're going to implement it into the randomizer yet, though.
Yeah, that would be something that takes a lot of practice, but very interesting to know. I wasn't aware of that. That's really cool.
So 1540, and we're going into World 6. This could be one of the fastest seas I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
As far as I'm aware, 26, I think like 37 or something was the tournament record. And we had a couple of guys that got very close to that earlier in the group stages and even in the brackets. I know that the Hackster had one that I think was in the 27-minute mark. DLP was right there with him. So we've seen some really powerful players do that. And SDiezal could be right up there with them.
Let's hope for not an 11-minute World 8. That can happen sometimes. From my experiences, if you get a time like this early on, World 8's going to screw with you, but let's hope not.
This 2-1 is just wrecking havoc on Antlers. I feel so bad for him. Hopefully he decides to go the other way at this point. I don't know. I don't remember what the other level is. I think it might have been one that SDiezal actually clouded over. But hopefully Antlers gets through it this time because this is a terrifying level to try to contend with.
And Diesel's in 5 for 1. And, ooh, having a little bit of trouble, but he makes it through.
A very nice P-Speed strat to finish that off. Always a little bit of a dangerous thing to try to do, but with a little bit of damage boost, he was able to get through it. So no harm, no foul. And now he's through the Boom Boom fight, and Antlers is moving on to the Lemmy ship.
Yeah, I think Diesel's feeling pretty good about this run. He's doing much better than last time. He's taken maybe only 1 or 2 deaths, and I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks he's doing really well, which he is.
Yeah, I think he took 1 death early on in the very first level, which was actually the Air Force back in World 4. Other than that, you're right. I don't know that there's really been anything at all on his side. Unfortunately, Antlers, with some kind of a technical problem, is still struggling with those jumps. And unfortunately, that's a fight with Lemmy that goes south for him. So he's going to go ahead and equip a P-Speed or a P-Wing, and we'll see if maybe he goes for the off-screen wand grab as well.
Yeah, I definitely commend Antlers for even continuing with the technical problems he's having, because I know how frustrating it can be with controller problems or lag problems, and you just feel like you don't even want to finish up the race anymore. But he's going for it.
Yeah, I love this play from Antlers. I mean, SDiezal and him were talking earlier before this run, and they were talking about what do they want to do, and Antlers went ahead and decided to go for it.
And right at the end of 5-9, Diesel takes his own Buzzy Beetle to the face, the one that he threw. So he's gonna grab a power up this time and try again.
I'm a little surprised that he didn't opt for the P-Speed strat once he did get that Fire Flower. It is a lot quicker, and really, if you can keep ahead of that Lakitu, it's a way to get through it. But double damage does mean he goes through the pipe of Small Mario, but he is through the level, so big deal.
And as Kirby fan points out, anchors are mushrooms.
All right, so 19 minutes in, we are in the World 6 airship, and this is going to be Larry at the end of it. So we've got World 7 in the World 7 spot. That's going to be coming up in just one moment. And then we've got Bowser. So 20 minutes in, we're going to be finishing up the fight, most likely with Larry, and SDiezal's going to be moving on. So this is getting very, very quick at this point. And SDiezal still has 2 clouds in his inventory. That's going to come in big.
I actually think SDiezal used 2 clouds in this world, didn't he? Or does he still have 2 more? They had a lot of clouds, I'm not sure.
Yeah, a lot of clouds for sure. And I actually thought he played both the 1-5 and the 1-6 spot. The Fortress was up where I believe 1-3 normally would be. So he had to go through kind of a long way around to get to the Fortress, but he is through it. And we'll have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see on this clouds at this point.
3. Midguy says Diesel has 3 more clouds. That's amazing, because I know he used at least 1. But lots of clouds, lots of hammers. And Antler's gonna go ahead and fight more bros. He can go right to the end. I don't know if he knows that hammers break locks yet. I think Diesel finds that out here. Oh, he already did the fort anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he actually does have that knowledge because in World 5 he did break the same record as Diesel did. It's I think more of a question at this point as to whether or not he has another one.
Oh, that's what it was, right? Because Diesel had 2 and he only had 1. And he's gonna skip that other hammer, bro.
Hammer Brother fight's just not going in his favor this time, unfortunately.
No, SDiezal got all the hammer luck, and it seems like Antlers is fighting all the ones SDiezal didn't fight, and vice versa. So they're getting different items, but Diesel's getting the better items, unfortunately.
Yeah, welcome to the randomizer. I mean, I think there's no greater equalizer than that of just randomizer itself. I mean, sometimes you get the right one, sometimes you don't, and unfortunately for Antlers, that is, it's just not going in his favor.
All right, so we're looking at World 7. He's going to opt out of that. a couple of pipe checks because of the plant, and he's going to play the fort right away. We don't know if this is required yet or not. Most of the time in World 7, one fort is required, but not every time.
He's already had one fortress so far, and he went ahead and played it because it was route specific. At least we think. I mean, there's 2 pipes at the very beginning of World 7. We don't know yet which one's which, so we're going to have to wait and come back to that. But I love this decision from SDiezal. You want to minimize the pipe amnesia as much as you possibly can. A rogue hotfoot is giving him a little bit of a problem, but still, nonetheless, through the escalator, big deal. And now he's going to be moving on and just looking for the third island, because World 7 doesn't have anything else. He's already beaten 2 fortresses. World 6 had the 3 fortresses. He's just looking for the end.
And Antler's now just entering World 1. Taking a game over. That might have been intentional to reset his lives. It was the first level there, which is not a bad idea.
No, a little bit of a reset, not a big deal at all. He'll go ahead and find out the anchor has a mushroom in it, and he'll have to restart this. But not a terrible level. It can get complicated with those fire chomps, but hopefully he's able to get through it still.
And Diesel's making it through World 7. This should be the final island, and it is. Kind of surprised he didn't check that one pipe to see if it was the end there. But he does use his cloud, and he's on to the airship. Gonna fight Ludwig and get into World 8. And it looks like about 24.
Yeah, so sub 30 still a possibility. We have a little bit for that to go in SDiezal's favor to make it much less than sub 30, but you know, anything's possible in the randomizer.
Right, and I'm pretty sure, according to Miniguy, he still has 2 clouds left.
Well, he did just use 1 there, so there is a possibility he only has 1 left, but still, I mean, if you have to use more than that in World 8, something's going very wrong or very right.
Right.
But as we do go into World 8, go ahead and get your guesses in for how many bridges it takes to get to Bowser. And we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to have to go with 1, though.
Go with 4. I've never seen it in real life. I've only seen pictures.
That would be interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, you had a 3 bridge not long ago.
I've had a few 3 bridges. They're rare, but they happen. 4, though, I've never seen it. I've seen 2 people get it. DLP got it once and Tapatia J got it once. But as far as I know, they could be doctored. I want to see it for myself.
I feel you. Not that I don't trust either of those guys, but seeing it would be really cool.
No, for sure. Alright, so Diesel's gonna play some forts. He doesn't have any more hammers to break any locks here.
You know, not a bad call. You've got 6F2 here. It's going to be interesting for sure as to what happens next. But I don't hate this decision. I think SDiezal has really played a little more conservatively on this one. It seems like he's kind of seen a fort, played a fort more times than we saw previously. But I think that's got to be a comfort thing. He's got to feel comfortable with where he's at. You play a consistent, really strong race, and you've basically said it to your opponent and said, hey, beat it. You know, are you able to beat it? If so, great, we'll go into game 3. If not, GG. It's been fun.
Yeah, and I don't mind that strategy at all because it doesn't seem like it, but backtracking can be like just as bad or worse than dying or, you know, it takes so much. Right, it takes so much time for those pipe transitions and backtracking through World 8, especially if you get lost. More potential to get lost. It's not even worth it. I'm right on SDiezal's side. Just see the fort, play the fort. Sometimes it adds a couple minutes on, but you gotta take that chance, I think.
I completely agree, and especially once we get to that 4 fort required, that's obviously what we're gonna want to see there.
Yeah, that's what he's hoping. He's hoping that most or all the forts are required, so why not just do them right now? Because he really hasn't seen many locks on the overworld. We saw 1 in the darkness, but that's it. So it's kind of like, oh, there's another one. So it's kind of like saying that there's probably a bunch of bridges at the end. At least 2 we know of.
Okay, so SDiezal just trying to make a decision of, wait, where have I been and where am I going? And he's got to figure this one out. It looks like he's got a lot on the front still that he has to find out. So he's going to go ahead and play 6F1 and figure out what is behind door number 3.
Yeah, and he's played 2 forts, and he's seen 2 locks, so he knows once he gets the Bowser's castle, it's a free. He's going straight towards the end there. He knows the bridges are all made, if there is any.
Absolutely, and just not going to be a whole lot of time left here for Antlers to try to catch up. But now into World 7, he is doing his absolute best to get through World 7. He's going to find 4F1 here first, or 4F2, I'm sorry, and we'll be playing it.
And I'm guessing one of these pipes here take SDiezal right to the end here. So it's looking like a pretty good chance that we're going to get like a 29 or a 30 here. Yep.
There it is, and one bridge is all that's going to be in the way from SDiezal taking down Bowser, and a very scintillating time for sure. He's going to be going through to the fight with Bowser in just about another minute or so, especially if he keeps doing that. So the fight with Bowser coming up here quickly, and Antler's still doing a good job. Unfortunately, World 7 is just taking a little bit of time for him, and he's going to have to go through the pipe maze before he finishes off Bowser as well.
Antler's doing much better than the first run. I think he feels a lot more comfortable. The lag might have subsided a little bit. I know he's having a little bit of a problem, but he's really doing it. But SDiezal must feel like he's like got this right now. 27, 28 going into Bowser. Ooh, he loses it, but still. He knows he has a good time on his hands here.
Absolutely. I mean, if he takes down Bowser and Bowser does not take down Mario, that is definitely going to be a sub 30 and a blazing fast speed for a seed. Not necessarily one that I'm known for, but nonetheless, still welcome. And with that, SDiezal's going to be finishing off here in just one moment.
Antler's going to get the news in a minute. And I'm curious whether or not he's going to finish off the seed now that he's pretty much at the end here of World 7.
I am curious, and I don't know that we know this or even can find out without actually playing through it at all, but I wonder if he goes directly after the Air Force and then takes door number 3 there. If that's all.
I'm sorry. It looks like that is the case because SDiezal did play 2 forts, and there was still 2 locks down in the dark room. So it looks like if you go straight for that first fort and then go into that pipe at the end, it looks like it's pretty much a free World 8. Because I don't think SDiezal did all 4 of the forts. He only did 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be a very Jet World 8, and if it was any closer, if somebody had made that decision, that could have been big and really a game changer.
And SDiezal does take match 2, so he's going to take the sweep and be the 3rd place finisher in the 2021 Challenge Cup Randomizer tournament. And a big congratulations to and GG to SDiezal. And Antlers did a hell of a job. He kept right up with him. He had a couple of problems, but knowing what we know about World 8, it's not very long, and he did a great job.
Absolutely. The whole decision to stay in this, even with the lag, the technical issues, the delays, the things like that, apparently this has been going on for the last month for him, so very possible that it's race time. We'll have to hopefully get that resolved for him, because I would sure love to see him again. You know, you saw somebody with like Antlers who did just such an incredible job of staying in the entire way. And now he's going for a 3rd place finish. And even with all the lag and everything, you just kind of look at that and say, hey, what happens if you don't have lag?
Exactly. But I have a feeling we're going to see him next year in the main, and you never know what's going to happen. Maybe he's actually going to make it to the brackets this time. And as long as he had fun, that is the most important thing. I know it's not fun playing, with all these technical difficulties, but just the road to get here, I'm sure he had a fun time, and I think we'll see him back.
I sure hope so. I mean, what an incredible person to watch play. I mean, I've had the opportunity to come a couple of his races so far, and just an outstanding opportunity to do that. We see such great raw talent. I mean, we're playing for a 3rd place spot on the side that didn't make it to brackets, and I say it like that because I can't call any of these guys losers. They would all beat me for sure, hands down, easy peasy, no problem. Because you've got guys like SDiezal, Antlerz44, and then here in just a couple hours, we're going to be featuring Leslie Pro 04 versus Ryko Ryder. And all 4 of these guys, if you told me this was Challenge Cup and they didn't make it through the rounds, I'd be saying, hey, who was their groups in then? How did they not make it to the bracket stages? Because these guys are good. These guys are solid players, and to not make it into the brackets really just shows the level at which the community is playing right now, and it's exciting.
If this was like last year or 2 years ago, they would probably definitely would have made it, but it's just the skill level of all the runners in the main category and just all the community in general just like rose so much the past year or 2 years. It's everybody's just really, really good now. It's just toss up any match pretty much.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I don't think there's a single player that you can even possibly remotely think, yeah, they don't have a shot. I mean, how many times have we seen upsets? And now over on the bracket side, I mean, we have two people who have not been to a finals, as far as I know, in the tournament for the bracket. So we're not only going to crown ourselves a new champion, we're going to crown ourselves a new finalist as well, which I think is amazing and just really shows how the randomizer works, how it can give and take away. And I'm excited to see what happens next. I can't wait to see the finals for both tonight and then over this next weekend when the other runners take each other on in a best of 5. It's going to be very remarkable.
Yeah, I think Teeks, before this tournament, Teeks made it to the semifinals one time, I believe. And I believe this is the first time Haxer has even made it into the bracket. So both of them making it to the finals is very exciting. And it's going to be a really good match. They're both awesome at Vanilla, and they're both awesome at Randomizer, and anything can happen.
You are absolutely right. And now that we are talking about that, I think it's probably no better time to go ahead and mention that the third place matchup is happening tomorrow night. That's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So Thursday, July 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Mitch Flower Power is taking on Pro A007 in a best of 3 third place match, similar to what we saw tonight. They'll be playing the bracket seeds. And Growlwolf, that would be me, and Macobra52 are going to be on commentary. So I am so excited about that one. And then on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we are featuring Teeks88 versus the Haxer, and Dust Minion and Pro A007 are going to be on comps for that. So you want to talk about a couple of races to get excited about. You would throw the third final in tonight. Those are the races you want to watch. Those are all ones that you're going to want to be here for.
Yeah, and it's not just like a normal, third place match from any other tournament. We have a prize pool this year of $425, which 106 of it will go to the third place finisher, and the fourth place finisher will get nothing. So you do want to get that third place win in. There's a lot more on the line than there was last year.
Absolutely. And what an opportunity to go for something big.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're both going to be playing their A game on that one. And it really is a toss-up. I couldn't even imagine, begin to guess on who's going to win. Oh, I hear Diesel. Oh, he's not here. Okay.
We have a format up for a best of 5 because we still had it last night. And anyway, so we are going to go ahead and try to get the interviews out. I do apologize. I didn't realize that it was a best of 5 format, but now we have SDiezal. So GG, well played. Very nicely done.
Go. Hey, GG's. Thanks, guys.
So SDiezal, tell me about World 1 of the first seed. When you finished it, did you think you were way behind?
Oh, 100%. I thought I was like at least 2 minutes behind because of the first death I had.
Yeah, both you and Antlerz were having a really, really hard time with World 1, and we just figured that both of you were going to go like aggressively from there on out because we both probably thought you were a few minutes behind. But you played really well after that.
Yeah, I just had to shake the cobwebs a bit, and then it ended up being okay.
Especially that second seed, that one flew by. That might have been the fastest seed I've ever seen, potentially.
Yeah, that is easily the fastest seed I have played, seen, done. I PB'd by almost 2 minutes. I was like, holy crap, what's going on here? I thought I hit an extra split on my timer. I was looking down, no, we're heading into World 7 and we're at 21 minutes. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, not only that, you hit every bro that you fought in that seed was the correct bro. Every other one was worthless, except for the ones you fought.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I felt like I was getting lucky with my hammers. I had a good amount of hammers in that second one. Both seeds hammers broke lock, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, just that second one was really, really fast.
Yeah, unfortunately, you couldn't get a spot to use that last cloud in seed number 2, or you could have probably cut another 30, 45 seconds off. But I don't think
Yeah,
you had
that
an
too.
opportunity to use it.
Not really, no. Yeah, I think like every stage I did for the most part, besides like one or two of them, was a required fort to do. So
Yeah. But congratulations on third in the
hey, thank you.
2021 Challenge Cup.
Thank you so
Anything else
much.
you'd like to add?
No, that'll do it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It was amazing to watch. Looks like SDiezal's cutting out a little bit. Grey Wolf, do you have anything else to add?
I'm good. My mic cut out. No, thank you, SpeedGaming. Thank you guys for commentating. Human Mustard and Growolf. Yeah, definitely wanted, second or at least first, but I'll take third. And I'm glad that these last two were a lot more generous seeds in the past. Like these are definitely the more generous ones I've played in recent memory. So
Yeah, you guys lucked out with the seeds. You should have had me roll them.
that issue before.
Next time, though. Next time.
Yeah, but thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Take it easy, Diesel.
Adios.
Anytime for sure. And yeah, I guess I'm losing my touch. I came into this tournament, I had some doozies, and now I'm just losing the touch apparently. But that did give us a jet seed, so that was still exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, you're throwing softballs now. What happened? Every time you rolled a seed for me, it was brutal.
Maybe I'm just gearing up for brackets. We'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, you're saving all the good ones for brackets. I understand. That's how it's got to be done.
Absolutely. But nothing more for me. I just want to say thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting us, for the tournament managers putting this all on. There's a lot of people that go on behind the scenes and make sure things happen and make us look as good as we do. So thank you so much for them and all. And for chat for being here with us. There's a lot of places you could be, but you joined us here for the Challenge Cup, third place matchup. And for that, we thank you as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And be sure to watch the Leslie Proa and Raikou Rider match a little later today. I believe that's on the main channel. And we'll see you then.
Absolutely. Be back here in just under 2 hours for that, and we will look forward for sure to crown a new champion of the Challenge Cup. Until next time, keep randomizing, keep racing. Take care.